All right, this is the Wrestling Doctor for Pro Wrestling Extra. I'm sitting here with somebody who, in the old days, they called him a journeyman, but he is not a journeyman. A journeyman in the old days, when they traveled around, did a lot of shows in different territories. This guy does that, but he does that, he's been champion in numerous territories. Everywhere he goes, he winds up winning the title. This is Jake Slater. Jake, thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you, you're somebody I've been watching, and it's pretty easy to find you on YouTube. There's a lot of your matches, and you've wrestled a lot of people, and that means you've got a lot of experience, and you're a vet. When I talk about somebody like this guy is a veteran.
I don't know about that. I travel with veterans, but
Oh, yes, you've been in the business how many years?
seasoned professional. Let's put it like seasoned professional.
Yes, okay, that works. So, when did you get into business?
About 13 years ago, about the year 2000, I started training. Maybe in late '99, started training. Broke in mid 2000. I trained for a good solid 8 to 10 months. Before I even wanted my first match. So,
Which is unusual today, to actually get in there and go to school and learn for 8 to 10 months.
well, actually, even when I started, it wasn't really as far as with a school. I met up with a wrestler who I still feud with today, Mike Payne, and he's you ever thought about being a wrestler? And I said, every day since I was this high, And he said, well, come over tonight, we're training, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll come watch. And the ring's like a magnet, man. When you've dreamed of it all your life, it was like a magnet. And I said I was going to watch that first night. I was right in there, and he started wanting me to just take flat back bumps. And I was hitting those and arm drag bumps and hip toss bumps, and everything was just going great because I've done all this stuff as a child since I was out in the yard. I've been preparing for this day, and everything was, you don't need training. I said, oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, because I'm not going to make myself look bad.
Right.
That was important to me. First impression's a lasting impression. If I go out there half ready, like a lot of these guys do today,
Right.
then you put a real bad taste for the business in the consumer's mouth. And
That's what this is all
I didn't
about.
want to be that. I didn't want to be that guy.
It is all about the people that pay money to see the show.
Absolutely.
You
Marquis says pro wrestling.
That's it. You want them to come back. Now, can you remember your first match?
Oh yeah. My first match was in Macon, Georgia. We were in a Mazda car dealership lot right across from Rose Hill Cemetery where the Almond Road is there. And anyway, it was against a guy who I'd trained with, Dwayne Elliott, Doomsday. There's so many variations of Doomsday. Anyway, it was watching it back on film now. It's a little rocky. It didn't make YouTube. Let's put it like that. I thought I was ready. I really thought I was ready. And but I tell you, that first time in front of a crowd, it ate me up a little bit. Even though I knew what I wanted to do going out there, and of course it was my first match, so I'd worked over every little detail.
Right.
And went out there, and those details started crumbling. That's the first time I guess I got a taste of improvising.
And that's what happened. Your nerves start going. You start breathing real fast. Your heart rate.
And I haven't been nervous since.
Yeah, I'm always nervous. Every time when I went out through that curtain, I was nervous until I went through the curtain. Then that was fun. Now, we sat down one night and we talked for about 2 hours, and we talked about old school. And that's something that's close to you and your heart is old school wrestling.
Oh,
and you love it, right?
That's what I do. The rest of these guys can go out here, and I'm an entertainer as well. Don't get me wrong. That's the business. That's the way it's always been. Old school was entertainment as well, but it was also wrestling.
Right.
It wasn't. It wasn't theater.
Okay.
And not saying that hey, this business has got its place for every every aspect of it. You've got ROH, and that's more of a theater wrestling. Whereas the guys that I've learned from, because my training was basically me in a warehouse building with a few more guys who were just breaking in themselves. my real training and experience comes from being on the road with guys like Tommy Rich and Bob Armstrong. You know, shortly after I got started, we worked a show one Saturday afternoon, and him and Steve at the time were like, "What are you doing tomorrow night? We're doing a show in Pensacola tomorrow night. You know, pay's not great, but you want to come down?" So we went down, and that led to probably 6, 8 months, maybe even a year, every other weekend traveling 5.5 hours to Pensacola and learning from the Armstrongs.
You couldn't learn from any better people.
No.
Bob, Steve, I wrestled with Steve in Montgomery.
No, Scott would be down there.
Scott would be there. Brad, all the Armstrongs were great. Okay, you're running your own promotion now, aren't you?
No and yes. I'm the booker. I book a show. I used to promote shows, and I completely got away from that.
It's pretty stressful.
That's a lot of stress on me. You know, some of these guys, they come in here and they bust their humps. They promote these shows and they draw good. And for that, I'm glad I get to work for them. But
you got a show coming up, though, I've heard.
Yeah. Well, next Saturday night we're in Albany, Georgia. That's the show that I book for, South Georgia Championship Wrestling. You know, the best from Florida, the best from Georgia, and even from some guys from Alabama have been over and visited us. It's a heck of a show. They all the guys really bring it, and it's a strictly professional wrestling show. Once again, the marquee says pro wrestling. If I'm selling a ticket for pro wrestling, then people are going to get pro wrestling. They're not going to get my cousin who I trained for 2 weeks.
What I like is you're bringing guys in from all over, which helps the experience for everybody. You know, when you work a guy in Georgia you've trained with, you're not going to improve that much. When you work a guy from Florida and Alabama that's been trained differently, you learn.
Got to push those limits. All of us boys, we learn from one another.
Absolutely.
Everybody, I'm down here in St. Mary's tonight, and everybody that's on this card, for the most part, the Blaine Wages and Cantrells and Lance Alonso, we all cut our teeth at the same time. We've all, maybe they came in a couple years after me, I'm not real sure. But, we learn from one another. We came up in this business together, and I've seen a lot of guys come and go. Some, thank God they're gone, and some just ain't gone yet. But, I love this business, and I just want to see it.
Well, that's what comes across when I talk to you, and I'm sure the fans will be able to tell, seeing is how much you love this business and the business means to you. That's what we do at Pro Wrestling Extra, is to try to give back to the business, to help the younger guys, to help the guys, so the fans will get to see the guys away from the ring and say, man, they're just like me.
Absolutely.
And then they see a guy like you and they say, but he busted his butt and got out there and traveled those roads and learned from the vets. And that's what's important for the younger guys to hear.
Absolutely. Well, you can learn from anybody.
Yes, you can.
For a short while, I broke some guys in the business and helped them get started, and gave them their first days of training. But I always told them, I said, you're always learning. The day you quit learning, hang up the boots. You're either learning what to do or what not to do. But the key word is you're learning.
It's a never-ending process. It's like going to college, going to wrestling college your whole life, because the business will change on you, and you got to change with it.
Absolutely.
And that's something you've learned to do.
Well, I have. I can have wrestled some of the greatest guys in the business. Guys I used to sit at home and idolize. And I don't have to sit here and name drop, I don't have to do that. But guys I used to idolize and sit home and watch on TV, and never imagined I'd share a ring with them, but I have. Whenever a lot of the legends come to town, and I'm the guy they usually call to come in and work with them, and hey, I've enjoyed it. But I learned from those guys, but I tell you, you want to learn, that's how you learn. You learn how to work from those guys.
Right.
When it comes to learning how to wrestle, then you get in there and you mix it up with these Blaine Rages, and you get in there and you mix it up with Kevin Cantrell, Vordell Walker,
right.
New guys on the scene who last year you saw me working in his first matches. Dad's a legend, Tim Zabisco. Yeah. That kid's so impressive. Now, if I'm standing out there in that ring, we're not going to see eye to eye, but great talent. A lot of great talent. There's a lot of
Well, you're going to have, there's all levels of skills. But running across guys, I've run across guys, Johnny Armani, Rocky Santiago,
Great
both
guys.
of them been in the business 2 years.
Absolutely.
That is unbelievable in my day. In my
Uh-huh.
day, 2 years, you were a curtain jerker and you were counting lights every night.
Well, I'll tell you, it's these guys they're bringing it.
They're athletes.
They're
athletes.
bringing it to the table. You gotta adapt and overcome, no matter. And those legends, they paved that road.
Absolutely.
They paved the road for it. So, in order for the business to keep thriving, then of course it's going to have to evolutionize. Now I'm old school, and I don't really want to let go of that, but you have to.
Well,
You
that's
have
true.
to. But I'm still, hey, Jake Slater's still going to be around. I'm still going to deliver my fashion of wrestling. And hey, I look forward to the day that I get to work with the Rocky Santiagos or the Johnny Armani's or hey, those guys definitely bring it every time they get in that ring.
They
bring
do.
it. I watch them. I see what they bring.
Now, he didn't name drop, but I'm going to tell you, go to YouTube, put Jake Slater in there, and you're going to see him work a lot of the legends. And you can see him work great matches with him. The guy has ability. He's old school. He's going to work old school in there, but he can hang with the Flyers and the guys too, because he is comparable to them. And that's what wrestling is all about. Two different styles melding together, and that's what he does great. So listen, thanks for sitting down with me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Anytime,
I really
anytime.
enjoy talking to you anytime we can get together. I'm a lot older than you, but I still
You've
think
been down a lot of roads, sir. You've been down a lot of roads.
we think pretty similar on wrestling.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you being here. Thanks a
Yes,
lot.
sir. In closing, wrestling fans out there, I'm telling you, if you get the opportunity, go down and check out independent wrestling. These guys, they come out here, they bust their hump. They do it for years and years. The superstars you see on TV, well, for 15, 20 years before you saw them on TV, they were down here doing just what we're doing.
Yep.
Busting their hump, paving their road. And come out to these indie shows, you're definitely going to see somebody on that show. The next year or 5,
Could be there.
you could turn that TV on and, hey, there's that guy on TV.
There he is. Thank you so much. This is the Wrestling Doctor from Pro Wrestling Extra. Thanks.